And welcome back to Primility Primer, our morning reminder about the importance of balancing pride and humility in our daily lives. I am Jared Morris, and this is episode 5 of Primility Primer. And of course, we go live right here at 6:30 Central Time every day for a bite-sized reminder about, again, the importance of balancing pride and humility in our daily lives. And today I want to talk about gratitude. My birthday was last week, and I was fortunate enough to have many people who decided to celebrate the occasion by giving me gifts or sending me a card, just making me feel special on my birthday. And of course, now it is my responsibility to send thank you cards and to thank people for showing me that appreciation, for making me feel special, for going out of their way to do something nice for me. I was taught from a very early age the importance of thank you notes, and I try to always be good and consistent about sending those when they are appropriate. And I feel pretty fortunate that I don't have a great deal of regrets in life. But when I look back, what I always end up being regretful for are times when I did not show the gratitude that I could have or that I should have. And I want to talk about that a little bit this morning because as I thought about it, I started to think that there are really two types of people who struggle with gratitude. And we can all, I think, ebb and flow in and out of these two types of people, and it can be dependent on the situation and the people involved. But the first type is when we are so proud, or people who are so prideful that they feel entitled. So the reason for the lack of gratitude, and whether it's internal, we don't know. Again, gratitude is only it's only as valuable as how it is shown. I mean, if I can feel as grateful as I want in here and in here, I'm pointing to my heart and to my head for those of you listening on the podcast. But if I don't express that to the person who I'm feeling grateful for or to the source of this gratitude, then it doesn't matter. And so for this first type of person, the person who is so prideful that they feel entitled, who knows if it's going on in here? All we have to judge other people on are their actions, but we know whether we feel gratitude. And certainly that's the first step, is feeling it in here. We have to actually feel a sense of gratitude. But I think there are times, and again, certain types of people, and maybe we ebb and flow in and out of this, when we feel entitled. And so we don't feel grateful. And whatever it is. And again, some of that is human nature. We get used to certain ways of life or certain things always being there. And what really hit me with this is last week, I walked over to the refrigerator at home and I open it up and I look in the freezer. And I'm like, man, we have nothing to eat. Yet it was a refrigerator and a freezer full of food. It was just that there was nothing that I wanted to eat right in that moment. And in that moment, I was feeling entitled to the perfect thing that I wanted to eat right there, and it wasn't there. And my reaction is kind of disappointment. And I realize it's kind of a ridiculous example, but it illustrates this idea of entitlement and that replacing the feeling of gratitude. And instead of being like, wow, look at all of these options, look at this refrigerator and freezer full of food, how lucky am I? Is there anything perfect in here? No, but it's amazing to have so many choices. There's so many people who would really feel lucky to have this. It's all about perspective. But in that moment, I was feeling way too prideful, and I can kind of chuckle about it now. But on a grander scale, or when there are people involved, that can be a really destructive feeling. Now, on the flip side of that, I feel like there are times in our lives, or certain types of people who don't express gratitude for another reason, and it's actually excess humility. It's a feeling of meekness. It's a feeling of either not recognizing the blessings that we have, feeling like we don't have really anything to be grateful for because our lives just aren't that good, or that the showing of the gratitude won't mean anything. And our meekness shows itself in feeling so low that it won't matter if we say thank you. Think about it at work. If maybe our CEO or somebody nice does something very kind for us, and we think, okay, I want to make a nice gesture to show that I'm thankful. Well, okay, but this guy or gal, they've got everything. It's not really going to matter. They're busy. What's me saying thank you going to matter? And that's where the not showing of gratitude is actually because of meekness. And neither one of these is good, because it shouldn't matter what we're feeling, whether someone receives the gratitude that they deserve. When people do something nice, when people make us feel special, when people go out of their way to help us, we should show our gratitude just as we would want the gratitude shown to us. And it doesn't even need to be gratitude for another person, simply gratitude for our health, gratitude for just the daily blessings that we have, for the house that we wake up in, for the water that we have to drink. Again, these are elements of the lives of many of us that we take for granted, that other people in other places would die for, would just, they struggle to have every day. And so it's about perspective, and it's about stepping back, having that self-awareness, so that we can then self-determine, which of course is the big goal here of Primility. So let me wrap this episode of the Primility Primer up with just a quick challenge for this Monday morning, which is simply to express gratitude today for something that you normally wouldn't, right? Maybe it's just calling up your parents and saying thank you. Maybe it's sending an email to a coworker thanking them for the help they gave you on a project earlier. And it doesn't even need to be something like that. You can walk over and give your dog a hug and thank your dog for being a great friend and companion. Or walk over to the refrigerator, the freezer, open it up, and be grateful for having some options for food this morning. And if you really don't have anything, like maybe you're at that point in the refrigerator where it's just butter, a couple of sauces, and you're just out because maybe you've been traveling or whatever, you haven't gone to the store. Hey, we've all been there. Then go to the grocery store and be grateful that there are places like grocery stores, so that when your refrigerator runs out of food, you don't have to actually go out and hunt or catch your meal, because these are all things to be grateful for too. So it's just, I really feel like, especially on a Monday morning, it's always great to start out a week, start out a day with feelings of gratitude. Plenty of studies have shown that people who practice gratitude, who truly feel grateful for what they have, are happier, they're more productive, they're more consistent people. And so I'm sure this is a theme that we'll come back to time and time again on Primility Primer. As for me, I have several thank you cards to write, and I'm not going to look at those as any type of burden or to-do list items. These are going to be really fun opportunities to tell people who made me feel special that I really appreciate them, and make them feel good. And hopefully making them feel good about it makes them do it to the next person, makes me do it to the next person, and we get the cycle of gratitude and the positive feedback loop. And we all help each other, paying it back, paying it forward, and just making the world a more grateful, happier place, all through the power of Primility. All right. Well, thank you for watching this episode of the Primility Primer. This was episode 5. If you want to watch episode 6, go to primility.com/podcast/006 tomorrow morning at 6:30 Central Time. By tomorrow morning, I mean Tuesday morning. We go live every day at 6:30 Central Time. And so would love to see you there. And of course, if you can't listen live, you can always watch the video or the podcast anytime thereafter. All right. Have a great Monday, everybody. Stay cognizant of your pride and your humility, and do your best to keep them in check. I will see you tomorrow morning at 6:30. Wrist bump.